Hello everyone and welcome back to class. Today we're talking about torts and personal injury. We've been talking about the actual personal injury cases in torts, but today we are going to be learning how to write a complaint. Okay, so make sure you have your slides downloaded or printed out so that you can take notes. Any questions you can put them in the chat and then I will address those as I go along. So torts, personal injury, writing a complaint. Alright, so I'm just going to give you the basic facts needed to prepare a complaint. I'm going to tell you the 4 basic facts needed first, and then we'll move on to actually writing the complaint and getting the information. So you will need the parties' names, plaintiff and defendant. Okay. The county and state where the parties reside. Okay. Where they reside at the time the complaint is filed. The facts of the case, we'll talk about obtaining those. And the location of the incident or the injury. Since we're talking torts, personal injury, it's very important to know the location of the incident. Next, an actual complaint begins a civil action. So remember, we're talking about civil actions here, not criminal. So torts is actually civil, okay, and consists of the plaintiff's allegations against the defendant. So plaintiff versus defendant. Our first note here, prior to you writing the complaint, the paralegal needs to obtain sufficient information from the client through a client questionnaire. So I'm going to show you a questionnaire as soon as we talk about what the questionnaire should contain. I'll give you a sample questionnaire. Each firm, now all law firms do have slightly different variations of a questionnaire, but as long as you have the basic 4 questions and also the questions that you're going to see down here, in your questionnaire you can use both. Okay? Let me get that on here. This is a little bit too... Okay. So, here are a few questions that should be included in the questionnaire. So you can actually make up your own questionnaire unless the law firm has a questionnaire they want you to use. Just make sure to always include the following, okay? So the paralegal, now you need to send the questionnaire to the client prior, very important, prior to the initial client meeting, which means before you even meet with the client at the initial important meeting, the first meeting, you want to get this questionnaire out to them before that and give them enough time to actually think about the questions and give you answers, okay? So some important questions included in the questionnaire should be all of the plaintiff's previously used names and addresses, if any, okay? The plaintiff's prior employment, any education that the plaintiff has, a thorough medical history, prior injuries, and also other accidents or insurance claims, okay? And we'll take a look at a sample one so show you exactly what this means. But these are really, really important to have in your questionnaire before you actually meet with the client one-on-one, okay? All right, so I'm going to show you a sample of a complaint and a questionnaire. So we're going to go to Miro board. Let's go ahead and transfer over to Miro board here. So we have an actual complaint here. As you can see, some of the things that I mentioned are actually here. We have their plaintiff's names, okay, versus the defendants, and these are the defendants' names down here, okay. Now it will always have case number. When you get the case number, you can go ahead and input that. But the complaint here is for private nuisance and negligence per se. So you do have to do your legal research to actually find out what facts are going to pertain to private nuisance and negligence per se. And that is what the complaint is for. So everything in this complaint has to include private nuisance facts and negligence per se. Okay? So let's go ahead and read the example. Here we have Number 1, plaintiffs are and at all times relevant here and where individuals residing in the county of anywhere. This is where you're going to put the county of where they reside. Defendant is and at all times relevant herein was an individual residing in the county of anywhere. You're also going to put where. It depends who you're representing, or if you have that information, you can put the defendant's county also. Okay? Now, the county of anywhere is the proper venue for this action because we always want to do our legal writing with always intertwining the word because. Because the defendant resides in anywhere county, was doing business in the county of anywhere, and the acts complained of in this complaint were committed in Anywhere County. So whenever you see Anywhere County here, this is just a sample, you're going to input the specific county. Now if you notice here for legal writing, we do have complete sentences and grammar and punctuation. So we are looking for all of that, okay? All right, so plaintiffs are presently unaware of the true names or capacities of defendants named herein. Plaintiffs will seek leave of court to allege their true names and capacities after same have been ascertained. Plaintiffs are informed and believe and therein allege the defendants' inclusive dispute, plaintiffs' contentions, and so forth. I really want to get down here to the most important part, which is where we did our legal research and we're actually going to put in our facts of the case, okay? So, plaintiff's residence is located directly across the street from defendant's residence. Now this has to do with nuisance, okay? Since on or about 2004, defendant has been using his garage to make furniture for sale to the public. Defendant runs electrically powered equipment at all times during the day and evening. The noise levels, nuisance, from these tools violate local noise and control ordinance. So when you do your legal research on nuisance, you're going to see that noise level is very important. It's a very important element of nuisance, okay? So just right here, this is where we collect the facts from our client, okay? We collect all of the facts and we put them here. Now just a reminder, we are using legal writing techniques. So proper grammar, proper punctuation, complete sentences, and so forth, okay? So when you initially meet with your client, you take your notes and you're just jotting down things, that is fine for you to write incomplete sentences or kind of use, if you want to use shorthand or however you want to take your notes. But when you actually come in and file or you're going to actually work on your complaint, you do need to use legal writing techniques, okay, that we've discussed before. All right, let's go ahead. So that's just an example of a complaint. Now we're going to go ahead and I'll give you this. We have more, and this goes on and on and on. So you want to list every fact that you found for each element of private nuisance and negligence per se. It's very important to do your legal research first before filing the complaint. And all of this down here, 6, 7, and 8, are actual facts that you found out from your actual client, okay? And the list goes on. I think this complaint has about 17, 18 actual elements that the paralegal actually wrote up for the complaint to show that private nuisance or negligence per se is an actual legal aspect for this complaint. It has to be following what your client wants you to defend them or what your client wants you to prove in your complaint, okay? So that's very, very important that we have to do the legal research before. So let's look up an actual questionnaire. We talked about a personal injury questionnaire. This is a basic questionnaire. You want the name. You do want the name, phone number of your client, of course. Name, phone number, address, city, state. Now this is a questionnaire that someone has made up. It's either the law firm's questionnaire or it can be a questionnaire that the law firm asked you as a paralegal to write up. Okay, so these are all very important. The age, the birth date, employer's name, employer's address, we talked about those. The insurance company they have, you want to do research on that. Get their policy number, address, name on the policy, agent's name. There's a lot of information that you want to give this questionnaire to your client before you actually initially meet with them, so that they have time to think about these questions and fill them out properly. Okay? The name of the attorney, the address, were there any witnesses, and that way you can do more research on the witnesses and get more information from them. Nature of accident. Now this is very important since we're talking about torts and personal injury. You do need to know the nature of the accident. What was the exact date of the accident? The time of day? I mean, these are questions that your client needs to actually sit down and think about. So remember, always give these to your client before you initially meet with them in advance so they can have the proper time to fill these out. Were you the driver, the passenger, the front seat, back seat, number of people in your vehicle? Were you wearing your seatbelt? So this all has to pertain to personal injury. And obviously this seems like it was an accident, maybe a car accident. What direction were you headed? I mean, this is very precise. Were they going north, south, east, or west? Okay. What direction was the other vehicle headed? Were were you struck from behind, from the left side, the right side, approximate speed of your vehicle, were you knocked unconscious, were police notified, in your own words, please describe the accident. So now you're going to have your actual client describe the accident, and you can use that as facts also. So that's just an example of a questionnaire. All the information is obtained through the client, so you have to, and if anything that's not filled out, you would obviously have to go in the first initial meeting and meet with your client and fill the rest of the information out so that you would be able to come over and fill out the complaint here. Okay, so we're going to use this whole questionnaire to actually come up with facts to fill out the complaint, which is what they have done with this complaint here for 6, 7, and 8. They're actually using facts from their client to fill out the complaint. So obviously a questionnaire, an injury questionnaire, and a complaint go hand in hand, and all of this is done by the paralegal. I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions on this, go ahead and give me an email or stay after class and I will help you with this. If you need the Miro board link, I can send that to you also, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.